Cecilia Knapp is a poet and a novelist, and the Young People's Laureate for London 2020-21. She was shortlisted for the 2022 Forward Prize for Best Single Poem. She's the winner of the 2021 Ruth Rendell Award and has been shortlisted for both the Rebecca Swift Women's Prize and the Outspoken Poetry Prize. Her debut poetry collection, Peach Pig, will be published by Corsair in October 2022. Her poems have appeared in the White Review, Granta, Wasafiri, Popshot, Ambit, Magma, and magg and Anthologized. She curated the anthology Everything is Going to Be Alright, poem for when you really need them. I like the idea, published by Trapeze in 2021. Her debut novel, Little Boxes, is published by Borough Press, and she's currently working on her second novel. It's said that it's the most difficult, the second one. She teaches poetry in a number of settings.
It's been so amazing to be here. I'm still sort of pinching myself every morning that I wake up here, to be honest with you. Yes, I'm Cecilia, I'm from London. This is my first book of poems, Peach Pig, which is coming out on the 6th of October. So I'm just going to read you poems from here this evening, if that's okay. I have been writing another novel while I'm here, but I don't know if it's any good yet, and I haven't shown it to anybody, so I won't subject you to that. So the first poem I'm going to read from Peach Pig is an early poem in the collection. A lot of the book looks at what lessons women are taught by society and how we kind of internalize those messages and how, in my experience, sometimes those lessons can be intergenerational and we can pass those learnings onto our daughters, not necessarily in the best way either. This first poem is called Laureate. I watched my mother form her new body, cheekbones becoming violent, hips clucking to meet skin. I would wash her as she used to wash me, holding a small plastic jug under the warm water and tipping it over her back, her edges broken by bubbles. That night was like any other night in the hospice, people quietly dying, except we ate ham and pineapple pizza in her bed. Watch out for the men, she said. They have the upper hand. She smelt salty, shoulders poured against a medical pillow. The next day, when the doctor said she needed to eat more, she laughed, told him she had waited forever to be this thin. I laughed with her. When I try to replay her voice, I can't. This small slice is what I have. A woman happy with her own shrinking in the last weeks of her life. Okay, my mother quit bread. And yes, I let a man who sometimes loved me flip me onto my stomach, pennies falling from his jeans. I considered the sea salting my brother's skin. You are someone's son, I thought, as the man went to town on me. How hilarious. The picture of my mother people love most is the one where she's wearing washing up gloves. I've lost count of the men, my skin a glowing pig. Grandad used to kick Granny round the farm. Men will calm down in the end, she said. Keep quiet. Bad husbands can become good, but dead women can only ever be dead. When Dad left Mum, Mum cited not enough bonking. The woman he left her for wore linen shirts. If a mother is absent, her daughter becomes a scab on an elbow, a wild, wet ruby. The aunties in my family tapped their teeth knowingly before destroying a fresh pack of ready salted crisps. Yeah. Okay, so the next poem. A lot of this book looks at my relationship with my mother, but the latter part of it, the end few poems, looks at the loss of my older brother Leo and tries to find a language for that grief. He struggled with his sexuality and with addiction and with mental health his whole life, but I wanted to actually share a poem with you that celebrates him as a child and how kind of fabulous he was. So this poem is called Portrait of My Brother as Cindy Crawford. Fish slick in gold lame, grandma's clip-on earrings weighing down your lobes, chopstick in your mouth like a cigarette. God, you could move, kid. Strutting down the landing, your runway, stopping, spinning by the VHS, popping a peachy shoulder to the blue leggings drying on the banister, thin hips, headlights. You were luminous, warm-bodied. You walked your eczema up and down until you forgot you were a boy. You hadn't had your lip bust up yet, not in a house of women, all eyes on you, all our mother's scarves around your throat. Okay, so this year I got shortlisted for the Forward Prize, which is a big poetry prize in the UK. I was a bit stunned and a bit baffled, but I thought, why not share the poem that got shortlisted with you this evening? It's about grief, but it's sort of a different, approaching that through a different lens, through a different angle. When my brother died, I inherited his huge ginger cat, and this poem is called I'm Shouting, I Loved Your Dad at My Brother's Cat. I'm crying at green wallpaper, sick with the memory of your hands. When you died, though I asked you not to, I got some rest. Fair play. I ate my eggs, and the sun came out. How do you enjoy a fuck when you're sunburnt with grief? I had hoped for loss of appetite, some silver lining. I live in a flat that I can't afford. It's got big windows. They get so dirty. I don't condition my hair. You'd be disappointed with how often I let myself go. I've got your name tattooed on my finger, but it keeps falling off when I do the washing up. I've kept that cat you poured your tenderness into. I don't remember kissing you, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Some days it's someone else's brother. You serve me in the coffee shop. You're on the mend, pierced ears and a soft hat. Thank you. And my last poem, I'm going to finish off on one that I always find it quite revitalising and perspective altering to be in a different place in the world, and obviously I am in a very different place in the world right now, and so I thought I'd read a poem that is kind of about that yearning for places. Sometimes I yearn for places that I don't even know if they exist. I just might have seen them on TV or something. So this poem is my last poem, and it's called Everywhere Else Is Always Better. You want dark sand, a road lined with redwoods, to swim in a river without your body chasing you. You want the smoke before the cancer, soft American light, the beaded doors and the heat, a small tray of meat for lunch. Why do cowboy films comfort old men? Strap on some good boots and walk the world, big dog. Sleep without the guilt, the terrible green dreams. Oh, to drive down a farm road wearing a hat, eat a cherry in a light breeze, listening to the type of music only heard through windows. Watch a grandfather cry softly on a plastic chair moved by a violin. You want to be exhausted from growing vegetables, leaning against an upright fork, a scarecrow waving from the field. Thank you.